Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Cupid here with yet another YouTube video. This is the Week 3 recap of the Pokemon, Cupid Draft League, which is being held by me, Cupid. Now, yes, this is recorded the same day as the Week 2 one. I have taken a about 2-hour break between the recording of the last one and the recording of this one. I had some ice cream. I'm feeling a little bit better. I also updated a lot of doc-related stuff. This is the week, I believe, that Auto dropped. But if you look, I haven't put in Auto's team as a loss yet. The reasoning for that is because we got a replacement. If you remember Kitsune Noble from Season 2, guess who's back? Back again. Kitsune is back. Tell your friends. So, that being said, we only have 5 matches from Week 3 that have been played so far. At this point, our replacement for My Fate, John Gold 42, he's had over a week to play this match against Shadow King. He has not reached out to Shadow King, I don't think, and they have not played, so I'm going to just give the win to Shadow King. Bento is now 2 weeks behind on an extension. Bento is supposed to have faced Mr. Titan T in this week's match. Well, they're still waiting to play. And we are supposed to be going into week 5 right now, so Bento's actually 2 weeks behind. And we, again, since, Auto dropped, we do not have the match from this one yet. Kitsune and Ryevji will be playing the catch-up match today, however. I just didn't want to wait to record, because I want to get all of this out of the way. So that being said, we have 5 matches for Week 3, as opposed to the 8 that we are supposed to have. And yeah, it is the remainder of these matches. So we are going to cover them in roughly the order in which they happened. So, first things first, we've got Faye versus Rudes. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Okay, so we have... I don't know if these matches were placed in order, but we do have a whopping Great Tusk versus it was a Gudra lead. Now, when you have Great Tusk, you typically send in Great Tusk first. It's okay, though. Masquerade is going to go for a Flower Trick, not pick up the kill, take 1,000,000 damage from a Ice Spinner. And now there is a very, very strong layer of Stealth Rocks, and Dragapult comes and uses U-turn, picks up the kill on Meowscarada, and comes Gudra at this point to pressure this Garg. Now, Garg could have Salt Cured here to do 25% of the Gudra's health, but instead Roots decided to go for Iron Defense in front of a Steel type, which is absolutely not a great play. Now Gudra's going to Draco Meteor the Dragapult that you wall. And now comes the incoming Mawile. We go for a Sucker Punch here, presumably because we are scared that this Pokemon is faster than us, which it actually is faster than us naturally, so that's good. Now we're going to just continuously click Sucker Punch until we die, and Flare Blitz is going to kill us, and now we're going to get a extreme speed off from the Arcanine. We go for Hurricane here, which not only is not very effective, it also can miss. It's okay though, because Manectric's going to come in, use Thunderbolt on our Zapdos. Zapdos is going to use the Z move Supersonic Sky Strike, which is resisted. Manectric survives that, and picks up the kill with Flamethrower. Now, I don't know about you guys, but Serperior can win this game if it is Scarfed. It's not Scarfed, however, and we go for Hidden Power as opposed to Leaf Storm boosting our special attack. Something worth noting was that Hidden Power was Hidden Power Ground because it was super effective on the Manectric. Now, is Hidden Power Ground the wave here? I wouldn't say so. And now we're going to get glared, or not glared, Thunder Waved, and then we are going to go for a Leaf Storm. And instead of just attacking, we are going to allow this Gyarados to kill us. Because, we went for Substitute, which we should have done before it got off Thunder Wave. But instead, there we went for Leaf Storm. So Faye gets game 1. In a pretty solid fashion, I would say. Sylveon and Gyarados both still alive. Sylveon not even entering the battle. Let's see if Rudes is able to adjust and adapt for game 2. We still have the Great Tusk this time versus a Gyarados. The Great Tusk should get out of here, but instead we go for Stealth Rocks, taking half of our HP from Waterfall. And then we go for Close Combat, which Gyarados resists, and we also have -1 attack. due to Intimidate, and the Gyarados' Rocky Helmet, meaning we take the same amount of damage as we dealt. In comes Zapdos to use an electric move. Manectric is going to take that electric move, not very well, but it's going to Mega Evolve, use Thunderbolt, and if we saw last game, the Z move would have killed here. But instead we go for Hurricane, which is resisted by electric types, and we missed. Not only that, we lose our Zapdos for free in exchange for some chip. Now we are going to go into Dragapult, use Draco Meteor on the Goodra, and we are going to now switch into our Fairy type in response to the Goodra's Draco, because we have learned that Goodra does in fact beat us 1v1. Now we are going to use, what was the first move? Sucker Punch, and then we're going to use Thunder Punch, just because, you know, I guess Thunder Punch maybe kills. I don't know, maybe we're predicting Gyarados. And Faye is going to switch around a little bit for no real reason, and then we are going to not Sucker Punch the Arcanine, and, die to Flare Blitz. But it's okay. Now we're going to go into Toxapex. We're going to get off a Toxic. Very good. And Faye uses Will-O-Wisp for some reason. And I don't know why we went for Toxic, considering we have Stab ×4 super effective Scald. Me personally, I would have not gone for that. I would have just picked up the kill, but it's okay. Now we are going to go into Superior and take a Flamethrower just barely and miss a Leaf Storm for our troubles. And now we're going to die to a Thunderbolt, but it's okay. We have a Dragapult and a Toxapex, and provided that we pick up this kill on Manectric, none of these Pokemon can really 1v1 a Toxapex, especially since we are faster than this. We don't kill, meaning that this is probably some variety of defensive Gyarados, and Faye really likes to click Thunder Wave. He probably clicks Thunder Wave as much as Juvenile does. But after Rocks, Meowscarada is going to take some crucial chip damage here. And there is a Toxapex in the back versus a Meowscarada and also a Sylveon. Now, Toxapex with Toxic and Recover can genuinely just win this game. And it does look like it does have Toxic and Recover. So now all we have to do is wait for Faye's team to die the slow, painful death that it is going to probably experience. I believe that this is Choice Banded based on the sheer amount of damage that it's doing. But tragically for Faye, there is no real answers to this Toxapex left. And after a little bit of stalling, we do get through the Meowscarada, and in comes Sylveon to have Psyshock, which is good, but not good enough here, because it only does a 30% damage. And surprisingly, Rudes doesn't really go for, you know, Regenerator shenanigans with the switching that you could have done. And you honestly had a chance to win there if you were Faye, if you just kept clicking Psyshock. Because Psyshock, if it, you know, had max rolled, the 36% Toxapex could have died on that turn, but it didn't instead. And now it's going to click Recover until your Sylveon dies, and a crit doesn't even save you at this point. So, Faye manages to blunder that game, and maybe game 3 will not be as dramatically blundered. So let's see what happens here. We have the same lead, Great Tusk versus Gyarados. Gyarados is going to get off the Intimidate. We're going to go into Waterfall again. A big surprise, this went exactly the same. This time, instead of using Close Combat, we use Ice Spinner, and then lose our Great Tusk for free instead. Now we go into Zapdos. This is an obviously Goodra switch. Goodra takes 9% from Thunderbolt. And in comes the Mawile, but we have a double switch situation. Faye predicts this, and then just goes for a Flare Blitz on the Arcanine, and just picks up a kill immediately, instead of us switching into Toxapex like a logical person. Now we're going to Scald immediately and kill the Arcanine, which is very, very good. Meowscarada is going to come in. And we go for Thunder Punch on the incoming Zapdos with the Meowscarada, and Thunder Punch is going to 2-hit KO the Zapdos, which is very strong. Now we go into Goodra on Flamethrower. Goodra takes 19% from Flamethrower, and Toxapex is not the switch-in that you need. In fact, at this point, Roots' Pokemon are all very, very bad against this Goodra. Because this Goodra, big surprise, is a Steel type. So you can't Toxic Poison it. You can't, you know, really comfortably Leaf Storm it, because it ×4 resists Leaf Storm. And sure, if you have Hidden Power Ground, maybe after 1 you're okay, but yikes. And even the Dragapult doesn't really do all that much damage here. But Faye doesn't seem to recognize that and is going to let the Goodra die, even though at -4, at -6 even, that Draco Meteor still picks up the kill. And now the Serperior with the Substitute can feasibly win this game. What you needed to do, however, was use Leaf Storm. You needed to Leaf Storm. You needed the boost, and yeah, you're gonna get your Substitute popped, and since you don't have the boost, you don't kill this Manectric, and the Manectric is going to get off a Flamethrower, dealing massive damage to you. And sure, if you had hit this Leaf Storm, you would have been, you would have killed the Manectric, and then you just die to Sucker Punch from the Meowscarada. So, yeah, you needed to go for the boost there at the end, and tragically, you just did not, Roots. And as a result, Faye is able to get the match win 2-1. Very, very good. Next game, Antkiller versus Ibe. Okay. So we have Ferrothorn lead versus Tapu Koko lead, a classic Generation 7 matchup. Now we have Volt Switch into Moltres immediately. We're going to get up the rocks. Now we need to get out of there, but luckily Ant is outsmarting Ibe and just stays in and goes for knockoff instead of, getting fire attacked by the Moltres. Which, by the way, I don't know why you wouldn't just click a fire attack. Sure, Antkiller has several Pokemon that resist it, but that's free damage. Call it stealing. And now Jirachi is going to Iron Head and end up losing more HP than it actually gains by hitting this thing. Because, sure, you're getting the flinches, right? But, Leech Seed's gonna heal up the all of the damage, and you're also taking Iron Barbs. So that actually was 2 turns of doing negative damage to yourself. So Moltres comes in, we attempt to do, I don't know what we attempted to do, but now we go into Samurott, and the Greninja is going to use Acid Downpour, not picking up the kill on Samurott. Samurott's going to use Knockoff, and then use Aqua Jet, which was not very good, and Battle Bond is going to trigger, but it's okay. We have a Scizor. Scizor, after Mega Evolving, should survive any attack that this goes for, and it even kills with Bullet Punch, which is very nice. That being said, now we have a Nidoking in, and Nidoking can cause us quite a few problems with its excellent coverage and the ability to run Sheer Force and a Life Orb. And now we're going to just switch around a bunch of times, and then we're going to try and trick him by staying in with Moltres, but it doesn't work. And we die to a Rock Slide. Now the Nidoking Earth Powers, picking up the kill on Claude. Scizor is going to come in, die to a Flamethrower because you don't kill this with Bullet Punch. And I don't think Tapu Koko has a move that beats this Nidoking. And it's been such a long time since I have seen Nidoking go off in a battle like this that I gotta say, good job, Ant, for making this terrible Pokemon work. Now, let's see Game 2. Let's see if Ibe is able to adapt and not sacrifice Jirachi to doing nothing. So we lead the Moltres this time. Antkiller does not follow through with his stereotypical Ferrothorn lead because he clicks Stealth Rock's turn 1 every single time. And this time we go into the Jirachi, we get up our rocks, and lose Jirachi to the Nidoking. Now we're going to bring in Samurott. Samurott's going to go for a Razor Shell that cleanly one-shots this with no crit. I believe we have the ability Sharpness, so... And now we miss a Razor Shell? I thought Razor Shell was 100% accurate, but it seems that I was wrong. So we do not get the kill here with the Razor Shell, and by the Razor Shell kill, I mean literally negative damage against the Ferrothorn. But it's okay, Moltres is going to come in, and we're going to take turns, or Antkiller is going to take a turn to miss a Hurricane for fun. And Ibe is going to U-turn and then go into Tapu Koko, which reveals that it is, in fact, faster than Noivern. Big surprise. I believe it is actually just faster than Noivern anyway. And then Ant's going to do some extra switching for no reason, and Tapu Koko is going to get out of there alive with Volt Switch. We go immediately into Moltres. Leech Seeds go up, but click a fire attack. Please, click a fire attack. There we go. Flamethrower. Alright, now after the Leech Seeds, that doesn't do that much. That does about 20%, but it's okay, because we have a Clodsire. Clodsire with Water Absorb. Now we're going to take an Ice Beam. We eat that like a feast, and we get off an Earthquake to do massive damage. And then we're going to take another Ice Beam. No Freeze. The Greninja dies without getting off Battle Bond, and this is looking really bad for Ant. In comes Silvally, a Ghost type. And we're gonna just invite back in the Samurott, I think, but it's okay, because instead of going into Samurott, we go into Moltres. We get a Flame Body Burn, and then we go for Will-O-Wisp, because, you know, we just really needed to make sure that that guy got burned. And now we're gonna go for some Flamethrowers, as Multi-Attack does less than no damage, because, you know, Roost. And since we are now officially out healing this Silvally, the fact that we are still continuing to click multi-attack means that Antkiller has basically resigned this game. And that we're going to have a Game 3 situation. Alright, Cinderace comes in, uses Pyro Ball, misses. Moltres is now going to heal to full, and if we have Hurricane, fantastic. If we don't have Hurricane, then who needs it? Yeah, and this Pyro Ball does half, actually, so that means that this is probably a banded Cinderace. Without Libero as well. But it's okay, we have a Tapu Koko in the back. It comes in, it's faster, it kills. Now we're gonna Volt into a Moltres, or a Scizor, I guess. Scizor, I don't really agree with that play, but I could have been wrong, I suppose. What is the health of Moltres? 51%. I suppose you could die to maybe a crit knockoff. Maybe. But now Scizor is going to Leech Seed, and then U-turn into the Moltres, and Power Whip does 10%. So based on that, I can see that Power Whip damage would not have been nearly enough to actually kill this Moltres if you had got crit knockoffed. So, yeah. Game 2 does go to Ibe, and we are, in fact, going to have a Game 3 situation. So let's see who wins. We have Moltres lead this time against the Greninja coming in immediately. Greninja lets forth its full force Z move, Acid Downpour, to do 9 damage. 9% damage to Clodsire. And now Clodsire is going to use a Gunk Shot of its own. Now, Clodsire is going to Earthquake on the switch to Nidoking, because I suppose that is an easy prediction to make. And now we're going to go Manaphy on the Nidoking's Earth Power. We're going to pick up a Scald Kill here because Manaphy is faster. And we're just never going to have time to Tail Glow. So we need to go back into Clodsire. Dark Pulse is used from the Greninja, which doesn't do enough. Ice Beam also doesn't do enough here. But we get a Freeze, which saves us from Gunk Shot killing our Greninja. And we are going to get a Battle Bond boost for free. That being said, here is Grimmsnarl to wall this, and we dodge a Gunk Shot like a boss to make up for the fact that we got absolutely wrecked by that freeze. And then the second Gunk Shot is going to do major damage to our Grimmsnarl. Scizor is going to Mega Evolve, and this should be a U-turn, right? But we're going to actually get Dark Pulse flinched, and then we are going to U-turn. Now our Scizor is at half as opposed to, 75%. And we are going to have Berry on our Manaphy. We are going to get Boom Bursted. Manaphy is now going to Tail Glow. We are slower. We dodge a Draco Meteor. We Ice Beam, killing the Noivern immediately. And then we are going to Ice Beam to do over half to this Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn's going to whip it and not kill, meaning that this second Ice Beam probably kills. And Cinderace comes in. This is looking pretty much over. Someone should be playing Baka Mitai at this point, but it's okay, because now we have Silvally Ground coming in, which, honestly, why would you bring Silvally Ground against you know, the Manaphy Moltres team? I don't understand why you've brought a Ground type. And now we are going to Explode, and this game is over. Antkiller is going to be defeated to the misses, even though he got a very lucky freeze. So... yeah, congratulations, Ibe, on the win over Ant. Because eventually this, like, we know that this is banded. This is banded damage. So at worst, this is going to go to, like, struggle. And, yeah, bad news for your Cinderace fans out there. Struggle is is imminent. We have 2 Pyro Balls left. There's still 2 Roosts. Yeah, this is going to end that way. And there's the last Pyro Ball. It misses, and Moltres is going to simply survive for long enough for this thing to faint, to struggle. And Ibe gets game 3 over Antkiller. Very, very good. Very good. Alright, so our next match we have is Plasma versus Zera. Okay. Now, Zera, after this match, made some well, not after this match. After, I think, week 4, he made some massive changes to his team. Basically, all of these Pokemon that you see here are no longer on Zera's team at this point. That being said, that doesn't happen until the future. So we don't have to worry about that. However, we do have Game 1 between Plasma and Zero to watch. So we have Plasma with the newly acquired Hoopa Unbound after I told Plasma that he really needed a strong Dark type to use Knockoff with. And we have a, what was that, like U-turn into Incineroar. And we're going to have a knockoff on the Landorus's leftovers. Now we are going to U-turn out ourselves into Swampert as the Incineroar is going to go for Parting Shot. In comes Roserade. Roserade's going to click a Grass move probably, but it's okay because we got a Hoopa. We're going to go into Hoopa. We're going to use Hyperspace Fury. Zera is going to stay in and die. Now in comes Corviknight to use U-turn, because U-turn would have killed if the Hoopa stayed in. We go into the Swampert, but at this point there is no Pokemon that really handles the Swampert very well. Vikavolt comes in, Swampert's going to U-turn out, and we're going to bring in Landorus, and Landorus is going to take quite a bit of damage from Energy Ball. You know, it would have been worse if it had been the Swampert taking that Energy Ball instead. So, in comes the Venusaur at this point against the Incineroar. We're going to go for Seeds because Incineroar can't really hurt us. We are faster than Incineroar, so we get off our Leech Seed and then Incineroar taunts. And now we have a double switch. Corviknight comes in against the Swampert, which is now healed to full off of leftovers at this point. Vikavolt's going to come back in, we're going to get up our rocks, and we're going to flip turn out because we do not want to get Energy Balled. Luckily for us, for Zera, I suppose, you know, Venusaur comes in, and we went for Volt Switch as opposed to Energy Ball, which is really good. That way we don't do negative damage. Corviknight's going to come in, invite in the Swampert, and we are going to Defog. Swampert's probably going to go for Rocks as Corviknight goes for Body Press, yeah. Now we're going to Defog again, as Swampert flip turns out of there. And Skeledirge is going to come in, and this thing definitely defeats this Corviknight. So Corviknight's going to U-turn out, bring in Incineroar. And how do we feel about this? Well, we feel like we're going to slack off and just heal to full. Now, the Venusaur comes in, gets taunted on the switch by the Incineroar. We're going to go for Sludge Bomb. It doesn't do very much damage, and Incineroar is now going to Parting Shot in the Corviknight. Corviknight, we know at this point, doesn't have any flying attacks. Or at least it really shouldn't. And yeah, we have a U-turn. Now Melodic comes in against the Pert. Melodic is going to click Toxic, as Melodic does. Rocks are going to go up. Melodic might be Flame Orb. No, it is not Flame Orb. We are not dealing with a Marvel Scale Flame Orb Melodic. Which is pretty good. It could still be Marvel Scale, but it's okay. We appear to be physically defensive as Hyperspace Fury is used from the Hoopa. Then Melodic gets to flip turn out, and it does a solid amount of damage. It does like 34%, and in comes the Incineroar, and after Intimidate, the Incineroar does not kill the Landorus with Fire Punch. Meaning this is probably physically defensive Landorus anyway. Corviknight's going to come in now. That invites, once again, the Skeledirge. Corviknight now probably going to U-turn into something. Melodic for sure. Torch Song might be used here. Will-O-Wisp is also acceptable. That nullifies the leftovers recovery of the Melodic. Melodic still has Recover, however. Hex is good chip, but it is not enough chip. Melodic does win this 1v1 as a result. And we're going to go for Scald, and we do not get the burn on the Venusaur as it comes in, which is very unfortunate. You cannot stay in here. You have to go into Corviknight. Corviknight takes 7% from Giga Drain, which after leftovers becomes 1%. Now we are going to get Leech Seeded as Corviknight U-turns out. Vikavolt's going to come in, and there is no Pokemon on Zera's team that defeats this Venusaur. So, Zera's gonna do some switching around to try and, like, PP stall and outplay the Venusaur, right? But, at this point, I don't think there's a way in. Because, you know, at any point, Plasma can just switch in the Skeledirge, force a change, because, you know, now you have to go Melodic. Skeledirge gets a free Hex here, that's an easy prediction to make, and if we're faster, we have a chance to kill this Melodic. We are not faster, however, and we just go for Torch Song, attempting to get a boost. We do get a boost. And we still don't kill after that, so we can't really stay in on Scald. So in comes Venusaur, and this time the Scald burns the Venusaur, meaning we have less longevity on the Venusaur. Melodic is now going to flip turn out into Corviknight, but I just don't see how we chip down this Venusaur considering it has Synthesis. And that's, yeah, that Synthesis reveal tells me that this game is over. So we're gonna go for Leech Seed with Corv. I mean, we're going through the motions, but unless Plasma, like, completely fumbles the bag, I think this is just GG. Like, there's really not much else to say here. Like, sure, Corviknight Melodic. You know, it's very bulky, very, very good, right? But, you know, now this Swampert's in, it's getting up rocks. And honestly here, like, you flip turn and you look like you're slower than the Melodic. So, like, now you get the slow flip turn, and you get to bring in Skeledirge or Kartana. Yeah, and we choose to opt for Kartana here. We're going to Swords Dance in front of this Corviknight. Body Press does less than half, which means that we get to Swords Dance again before Z-moving, and if the Z-move kills, that's GG. And it does kill. Now, I am not... Oh, wait, no, Valiant could be faster. Valiant could be faster. Valiant is probably faster. It's Quark Drive for speed. It is faster. Hold on. Maybe this game is not over. Maybe it is not over. Psychic type attack. No, we go for Calm Mind. Sludge Bomb is going to do 84% and poison us. Now, I am not entirely sure the poison mattered, unless it had specifically Psychic attack, and then, like, and then Energy Ball, I guess? But, you know, the Skeledirge in the back more than likely had Unaware and was going to survive that attack anyway. So, yeah, game 1 goes to Plasma. Let's see if Zera is able to make any changes game 2. And I see Plasma has a Pikachu. And that is terrifying news, because that means Plasma is feeling confident in this matchup. Either that, or he just doesn't have an answer to Corviknight, and he wants to deal with Corviknight. Anyway, you know, we have a lead. We have a switch into Incineroar. We have now a switch out of Skeledirge for Osile, the Swampert. And then we are going to bring back in the Skeledirge on the Roserade, because, let's be honest, you don't want your Swampert to get Roserated. And we're going to just heal off all that damage from the poison attack. Knockoff. Sky Tiger is going to lose its leftovers, and then we are going to have U-turn on the Corviknight, or we are going to knock off the Corviknight as well. And now we're going to U-turn on the Corviknight, and we are going to get in Skeledirge. Corviknight's going to U-turn. In response, bring in Melodic. Now we are going to probably switch into Venusaur, and then we are going to have Toxic on the Venusaur, and then we are going to Mega Evolve the Venusaur and probably click Leech Seed. Wow. Okay. And now we are probably going to have Corviknight U-turning on the Skeledirge. Wow, okay. And then we are probably going to have switch back into Venusaur, but instead we have switch into Swampert as Melodic goes for Flip Turn. Now we're going to bring in Roserade. This brings back in the Skeledirge or the Venusaur. Either works. And we go for Giga Drain. I don't know why we went for Giga Drain there. But it's okay. Now we have Corviknight on Venusaur. Corviknight's going to get to roost here. Wow, back to full. Okay. Now we have, you know, Pert also back to full thanks to the power of lefties. And at this point, we, I don't know what we have. Like, we have Rocks. And then we have Toxic on the Pert, which hurts the longevity of the Pert. But more importantly, we have Toxic on the Melodic, which means that Melodic is not going to be nearly as big of a threat anymore. Corviknight's going to come in, take some Rocks Chip and a flip turn, and Pikachu comes in. And Pikachu is going to use Volt Switch. And based on that damage, this Incineroar is Assault Vest, and Sky Tiger comes in and it's just going to Earthquake the Incineroar off. And then we could honestly have stayed in and Earthquaked the Roserade too. Not even gonna lie, it probably kills. Roserade's kind of fragile. And we go for a Leech Seed, predicting a switch this time. No switch. Slowking comes in, takes some Rock Chip, probably gonna Chili out. Yep, there's the Chili. And in comes Melodic on the Torch Song user. But that being said, at this point, we could probably stay in on the Torch Song user and 1v1 it. Instead, though, we have a switch into Venusaur. We get crit and burned, which is approximately a 1 in 500,086 chance. But it's okay, because it doesn't really matter. You know, Venusaur still defeats Melodic very, very easily. Pikachu is going to take over half of its HP from a U-turn from the Corviknight, and we are going to have to get out of there against the Roserade. Because, you know, the Roserade could kill us very easily. We have to be scared of the Roserade. But it's okay, because our Venusaur has Synthesis, which is going to heal it. It is healing, and now we're going to probably Leech Seed on the switch, but instead we go for Synthesis, which is also completely acceptable. Now we're going to Leech Seed the Corviknight. Corviknight's going to Roost, and we're going to get 12% damage off and heal ourselves a little bit. But we're still taking burn damage, so now we're going to go into Skeledirge as Corviknight U-turns again into Melodic, but this time the Melodic is just going to die. Surely this Melodic understands the situation that it is in, because it is toxic poisoned and Hex is, you know, going to do too much damage, but instead, Plasma opts to get out of there after seeing that he is in fact slower than the Melodic, and we just go into Venusaur to pick up the kill instead, which is completely acceptable as well. Corviknight's going to come in now. Corviknight is exerting its pressure. Skeledirge is going to come in on the Corviknight as Corv goes for a Defog, and at this point there is no Pokemon that really wants to come in on this Skeledirge using Torch Song. And big surprise, that's exactly what happens. Torch Song, we use Will-O-Wisp because we really want to get the doubled damage off of Hex, even though it's completely unnecessary at this point. We're going to slack off, you know, keep healing, and we can kill this thing with Hex at any given point. There we go. Roserade's going to come in, probably die to a Torch Song after we survive Shadow Ball. We get the special defense drop, and Plasma for some reason decides to opt for Slack Off instead of picking up the kill. Now we go into Venusaur to take 1,000,000 damage and get a Sludge Bomb off to do a little bit over half to this Roserade, and honestly, this is very much a losable game for Plasma, but since we get to successfully Hyperspace Fury off the Roserade, it's looking pretty dramatically over now, because you don't have enough of a defensive core to survive the onslaught of these Pokemon. Now we are going to Shadow Ball on the Torch Song, or the Torch Song Pokemon, I should say, and then we are going to Moonblast, revealing that we are in fact Quark Drive, as you could already see. Now we're going to Moonblast again, not pick up enough damage, and we are going to die, and in comes Corviknight, and Plasma probably wants to win this game with Pikachu. So he's going to use Knockoff, and then he's going to use Knockoff. And he's going to keep using Knockoff until this Corviknight kills him. And I think both players recognize the situation. So, thanks to the fact that both players recognize the situation, you know, we have a little bit of extra stalling, because, you know, Zera does not want to lose to a Pikachu, and honestly, Plasma just goes hard into a Hoopa. Hoopa is going to Fire Punch, not do enough damage. U-turn is going to pick up the kill on Hoopa, and there is the free switch into Pikachu, which kills this Corviknight and ends the game. Congratulations, Plasma, for your 2-0 win over Zera. Okay, the next match, Juvenile versus Spirit. Now, I believe Spirit made some dramatic changes to his team after this one. If I remember correctly, Spirit's team is very, very different. In fact, let's have a look to see if Spirit's team is actually different. Yes. No, it actually looks pretty much the same. Wait, no, Ting-Lu. Ting-Lu is a new addition. Ting-Lu was not on Spirit's team before this point. It was not there. So, since Ting-Lu was not there, Ting-Lu is new. Hog. And Juvenile is going to have to figure out how to not get completely rolled here. Now, Excadrill is, the lead against the Mega Lopunny. Lopunny is going to fake out, breaking the Excadrill's sash, and now we're going to close combat and kill the Excadrill because Juvenile does not seem to know what Mega Lopunny does. Zeraora is going to come in response, bring in the Screamtail. We're going to go for a fake out of our own, and then we're going to bring in Diancie against the Screamtail, and we are not Mega Evolved, so rocks go up anyway. And Juvenile's lack of a Defogger is abundantly clear here. Now Diancie goes for Iron Defense, which is a terrible set that you should never use. And now Hydreigon comes in on Make It Rain, and Hydreigon takes 1,000,000 damage for no reason. Now we go for Dark Pulse on Ting-Lu, and Ting-Lu says, ha 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 ha, you're a god dang fool. And now we go for Draco to do 25%. Based on this damage, I am willing to bet that this Ting-Lu may be specially defensive. Kyurem comes in, you can't take a Freeze Dry, so you do have to switch, and in comes the Goldango, no freeze on the Goldango, and Make It Rain again. We're going to do massive damage to the Zeraora considering that move is resisted. Zeraora is now able to use Plasma Fists, but instead we go for Fire Punch, because, our opponent never switches. And yeah, if we had gone for Plasma Fists here, it would have been dramatically better for us, but it's okay. We are going to get Dazzling Gleam to take a lot of damage, and we are going to get off another Plasma Fists, and the Screamtail is going to Wish. And now, after Protect, we should have probably switched into something that can actually kill this thing cleanly. But tragically for Juvenile, it does not look like we have any answers to this since we let our Excadrill die turn 1 and accomplish literally nothing. Preemptive F's in the chat for Juvenile because this shit's over. But the double switch into Diancie is pretty good here, but it's okay because we're Body Press, which is... What did you think was going to happen? I have told you the stats of Diancie. Why are you Iron Defense Body Press? Anyway, after all of this, this looks like it's going to be a 6-0, and not even in a dramatic fashion, I would say. Yeah, this Kyurem's just gonna tire itself out as we go for, spikes, protect, heal with our leftovers, and then we're gonna go into a fairy type, which, honestly is alleviating the pressure a little bit too much, but Juvenile has clearly given up because he is just clicking Draco Meteor on a fairy type. Ting-Lu heals nearly to full, and yeah, this is over. Play Rough crit doesn't even kill here. We're gonna get an Earthquake off, pick up a kill. Rocks plus Spike is really good here. Earthquake might even kill at this point. Brick Break's not gonna do enough. Okay, Earthquake doesn't kill. But it's okay. V-Create, we survive those quite easily. And Earthquake kills again. I say quite easily, but it really wasn't that close. And Kyurem's going to die to Stealth Rocks, giving a 6-0 loss to Juvenile in Game 1. Game 2. What do we have Game 2? Well, we have, this time we're going to lead Zeraora and get fake outed by ourselves. Very good. And then Zeraora's probably going to click Play Rough, I suppose, but instead we have Screamtail. Victini's going to come in and use V-Create on a Dondozo, which takes 25%, and now we should just go into Zeraora. But instead we go into Kyurem, presumably because I guess we're scared of Liquidation, but, using Freeze Dry is not exactly the wave here, because it only does 36% to the Screamtail, and it does even less to Goldango. Now Excadrill comes in. Big surprise, Excadrill is alive this time, so it is going to have usage in this battle, and we're going to have a Rapid Spin on the Mandibuzz. Hydreigon's going to come in, take 14% from this foul play, and we're going to get off a Dark Pulse on a Pokemon that takes negative damage from Dark Pulse. Now we are going to see how little Dark Pulse did, and we are going to think it is a good idea to set up nasty plots. And then go for Flamethrower. And guess what? After 2 nasty plots, we are still losing this 1v1, but it's okay, because now we have recognized, oh, wait, Draco Meteor, it does more damage than Flamethrower. Oh, and then we're going to sacrifice our Zeraora to a Lopunny Mega Close Combat. In comes the Victini, and we're going to go for Bolt Strike, which is an accurate prediction. Very good. Another Bolt Strike would kill, but the issue is that this thing has Protect, and, you know, as a result, it's going to survive this Bolt Strike, but never mind, the first Bolt Strike was just a minimum roll. And now we're going to keep clicking Bolt Strike like we have the Mangekyo Sharingan, and our name is Itachi Uchiha, and Victini is going to simply die to foul play. In comes the Diancie, which, you know, is going to Diamond Storm on the Goldango, and now we get a defense boost, and we die to the 4x super effective Steel move. This is a Scarf Goldango. Hydreigon's going to come in and also die to the Scarf Goldango because Juvenile did not recognize that Goldango should not have been faster than the Mega Diancie. So now we are going to go into Excadrill because the Goldango has done more than enough work, but Excadrill cannot Rapid Spin on it, which is the only way that Spirit can lose this battle, is if this Excadrill gets up a Rapid Spin. That being said, as a result, Spirit recognizes that and is going to pick up the win, as we just sacrifice the Goldango for Lopunny Close Combats. Now, unless this thing is Scarf, and it's not, yeah, the game was in fact over, and Juvenile is defeated once again by Spirit. Very good. Let us get into the 5th and final match that we will be able to cover for Week 3. We have Timba versus Waffles. Now, I have not seen this one yet, but I am sure that it will be an interesting match. Timba leads with the Heatran against the Ninetales. Ninetales goes for Calm Mind and takes half of its HP immediately to Magma Storm. And the Heatran's on a balloon. So you Calm Minded to pop the Heatran's balloon and do 8%, but it's okay because the Heatran is going to Quick Stealth Rocks because, I don't know. Why didn't we just turn one, let it rip? In comes Garchomp to use Earthquake. We go into Weavile thinking that we survive Earthquake, but it's okay because Garchomp uses Liquidation instead of the ×4 super effective attack. In comes Talonflame to take 1,000,000 damage from Triple Axle, even through Reflect. And now Heatran's going to come back in on the Talonflame, get a Flash Fire boost, and surely this game is over. Garchomp's going to come in, take way too much damage from Magma Storm, but instead we go for Flash Cannon, which technically there is more damage. Actually, I don't know if it is after the Flash Fire boost. I could be wrong. But it's okay. Garchomp has Poison Jab for the Tapu Fini, and Tapu Fini has Ice Beam for the Garchomp. Garchomp does not like those. In comes Sceptile. Tapu Fini honestly could stay in and just click Ice Beam again, but instead we're going to go into Heatran because we want to keep our Tapu Fini alive for later. Now we're going to get Focus Blasted like Death and Taxes, and Heatran does not dodge that. In comes Scyther. It takes half of its HP from Stealth Rocks, and that is a hidden power, either Fire or Ice. And now, since we have survived Hidden Power, we are going to Roost and reveal, in fact, that it is Hidden Power Ice, because we don't take super effective damage after Roost. Now, in comes the Tornadus. It uses Hurricane. We don't dodge Hurricane. And Tornadus now uses U-Turn, which I don't know why you wouldn't keep clicking Hurricane. I guess you're scared of missing, which makes sense, but you've let the Scyther heal to full. But it's okay, because Weavile says Triple Axle, which kills the entire Scyther. And now we have a Flare Blitz on the Tornadus T. Now we're going to switch into Victini, and Victini is going to also take a Flare Blitz and survive. But Talonflame survives the recoil, and it's going to get off a Brave Bird, which kills itself, and Tapu Fini survives. Now in comes the Sceptile, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't see a way through this Tornadus anymore. I don't see a way through. But I guess if we wanted to, we can also just go into Weavile and Ice Shard Waffles' team to death at this point. But, you know, for fun, we're going to sacrifice our Tangrowth. For fun, obviously, we're going to sacrifice our Tangrowth, because that is just a logical thing to do. Clearly, everyone knows that that is a logical thing to do. We are going to switch out on the Pokemon that you can just kill with Ice Shard. You're gonna switch out on it. You're not gonna stay in. You're gonna let him play. You're gonna let him cook. You're throwing for content, right? Throwing for content. Okay, and then we have the final game of the recap. Metacham versus Ninetales. I believe Timba's had this Metacham the entire time, and this is the first time it's made it to a battle. Anyway, we have Ninetales with a Mago Berry and also Reflect, as opposed to Aurora Veil, because we don't know what Aurora Veil does. I didn't point that out last game, but it should be noted. We survived Bullet Punch quite easily, even, because of the new Snow buff, giving a physical defense boost to Ice types. But we go for Reflect because we are not a normal person. Now Weavile's going to get off a triple axle, no burn from Flame Body, which kind of makes me wonder if this thing is even Flame Body at all. Now Garchomp's going to come in after U-turn pops our bubble. We're going to go into a Pokemon that is immune to ground and get Dragon-tailed, which is very interesting. But this is a free triple axle. But instead we go for Ice Shard, because we... Why? Why did we go for Ice Shard? Where is the logic there? Like, it's not Scarf, and even if it is Scarf, Dragon Tail is negative priority. Why don't we just pick up the kill? Like, that's a free triple axle, and none of Waffles' Pokemon survive triple axle. But it's okay. Next comes the Liquidation, and U-turn is going to do 5%, and we are going to take 29% thanks to Rocky Helmet plus Rough Skin. But it's okay because we have Regenerator and we're going to heal. Now we're going to Ice Beam on the Ninetales because water type attacks don't make any logical sense here. And now we're going to Surf, and the Ninetales is going to die because we are going to set up Reflect as opposed to, again, Aurora Veil, which is both Reflect and Light Screen in one move. So Sceptile's going to come in now, use Energy Ball, pick up the kill on the Tapu Fini. Weavile's going to come in, and then it's going to go out as we go for Focus Blast, which does connect, and we should really... Okay, we've learned. We've put Dragon Pulse on it. Very good. Now we are going to get up a free Dragon Pulse, and now we are going to get off another Dragon Pulse, and now Heatran's going to come in on yet another Dragon Pulse and take 1,000,000 damage, and Timba's going to lose this battle because he keeps switching his Pokemon for no reason. Weavile's going to come in, use Ice Shard. We really should go into Talonflame, but instead we decide we don't need our Pokemon that beats the rest of Timba's Pokemon. In comes Honchkrow now at this point, and Timba, for whatever reason, thinks that Weavile cannot beat Honchkrow in a 1v1. Now Honchkrow is going to get a free Heat Wave, and then switch for no reason, and then Timba's going to get off a free Hurricane. Now we have Dragon Tail forcing in the Tornadus, which is actually quite good for Timba, because now Hurricane confuses, and we're going to get off another Dragon Tail, and now Weavile's going to come in, and all we have to do is click the funny Ice Shard button. But Timba is probably going to... Oh, look, okay, so it survives at 2%. It survived at 2%. Did you see that? 2%. That Ice Shard is a range to kill in one hit. Also, we know we're faster. Why are we not clicking Triple Axle? Why are we not clicking Triple Axle? What's it gonna do? Sucker punch us? Okay, and? That's all I've got to say about that. But anyway, yeah, that was the conclusion of the Week 3 matches that we have gotten so far from the CUPID Pokemon Draft League. I hope you all enjoyed this recap, and I will see you all in the next one. Now, once again, I did express that we were missing 3 of our matches. 2 of them are going to be playable, I think, but the final one is just... I don't think it's going to happen. So, I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.